Good morning, students. Today we're going to talk about reviewing symbols and basic vocab that you should know from middle school. But before I start that, I want to remind you of extra credit. If you bring your compass the first day of class, you'll get extra credit. I will also offer an opportunity of doing the worksheet that's in this video. If you get 100% on it and bring it in the first day of class, I'll give you extra credit on that as well. All right. So here we go. Point. One of the things you want to recognize about a point here, as being a point, is that it's always named with a capital letter. Never can be a small or lowercase letter. That is wrong. You get marked wrong. A point has no dimension. It's key right here, as you see right here. No dimension. We have 0 dimension, 1 dimension, 2 dimension, and 3 dimensions. Those are the 4 possibilities. So if you ask which figure is 0 dimensions, a 0 dimension, you would say a point. 1 dimension is a line segment, any part of a line. Line segment, array, or a line. That is 1 dimension. A plane, which we'll get to on the next page, is 2 dimension, and space is 3-dimensional. All right. As we're going through this, the key is that you know how to label things and identify things correctly. So you need to be able to put the vocab word or the symbols with the picture itself and have them memorized right away and use throughout the year. I will be offering extra credit for that. I will ask questions. I might say, which figure has 0 dimension? I'm not going to necessarily do it right now for extra credit, but down the line. And you need to remember its point. Or if I say, what 3 things are 1-dimensional? You say line, or line, segment, and ray. If I say what's 2-dimensional, you tell me a plane, etc. All these vocab that you're learning not only today, but from here on out, will be asked throughout this semester and year for extra credit points. So notice that has nothing to do with your speed, because other extra credit comes from how fast you can solve problems in class. And so obviously if you're better at your math, you memorize your math facts better than others, you're going to be able to get things done quicker and have a better chance of the extra credit. Well, vocab, anybody can get that. So I don't want to hear any excuses that I didn't have enough chances for extra credit. If you've memorized your vocab words, you'll have a chance for extra credit. So I even put them on quiz or tests as well, not just asking class for extra credit. All right, next we have line segment. You see I have underlined the word segment because I usually only refer to it as segment, but you can also refer to it as a line segment. It's a part of a line. Okay, it has 2 endpoints. In this case, letters O, points O and P. Again, the points are capitalized. The symbol for a segment is a segment bar right above it. Looks just like a segment. 2 endpoints. When you name a segment, it doesn't matter which order you name it. You can call it OP or PO. That's why you see both options right there. Okay. Remember, these are called endpoints. There is no beginning point in math. There's just endpoints. Okay. In between any 2 points, this far, or if O was right here, between any 2 points, there's an infinite amount of points. So remember that. That could be a quiz or test question. Right, next, we have a line. A line has 2 arrows. 1 arrow on each end means it goes on forever. Okay. There are 2 ways of naming lines. Either by 2 letters on the line, any 2 letters on the line. In this case, there are only 2 letters, but if there's a D here, I could call it BD, line BD, or line CD, for example. Any 2 letters, not 3, not 4, not 1, any 2 points, I should say, any 2 points on the line. Remember, points have dots with them in the capital letter. You can name it by it, so that's why you see line BC or line CB, or here's with their symbols. The line symbol above it. Got to have the double arrows. The other way of naming a line is if they have a lowercase letter near one of the arrows. It could be on either end. So in this case, it's line K, and you would just say line K. You wouldn't even use the symbol. You'd actually just do line K and make sure it's lowercase. Okay, so that's the other way of naming a line. All right, collinear and non-collinear. Co, as it says right here, it means same. And linear, we can see in the word linear, means line, the first 4 letters, line. So collinear means their points are on the same line. Okay, so non-collinear, non means not, so not on the same line. So here are 4 collinear points, so I can draw one line through all of them. Here are 4 non-collinear points because I cannot draw just one line and have it go through all 4. The minimum amount of points that can be non-collinear is 3. That's what it says right down here. You must have 3 or more points in order for them to possibly be non-collinear. If you only have 2 points, that creates a line automatically. 2 points determine a line. One distinct line. Distinct means different. Okay, so these 2 points make a line. A C makes a line. DA makes a line, etc. Okay, but you need to have 3 or more for it to be non-collinear. Next, ray. Ray has one endpoint, goes through another point on the line, and goes on forever. I could have multiple. Let's say I put another point right here. Okay, put another point right here, and we'll call that point J. Okay, so this ray now has 2 names. Originally, it only had one name, ray GH. Okay, or that's where the arrow goes to the right. Or if I make my arrow go to the left, again, I still have to put the endpoint at the endpoint. So that's why the G is under the endpoint here. It's the endpoint. G is also on the endpoint here. And then H over here because it goes through H on forever. Now, even though you would think you might say this is ray HG, you don't call it ray HG, you call it ray GH. You always name a ray by starting with its endpoint. So this and this are pronounced the exact same way. So since I added this J on here, this is also ray GJ. Okay, and I can put the ray symbol above it. And again, I could have gone in either direction. Oops, that's a segment. Change it to a ray. Oops, right here. Ray. Okay, right there, ray. Or I could have made a ray go the other direction. And again, the endpoint has to be over here, and then it's going through J. So we write it as JG, but again, like I said, you pronounce it ray G J. Okay. Make that a little smaller. Okay. So all of these are the exact same ray right here. Now I do have another ray that I could make out of this right here. I could make ray GH. That means it's only starting, JH, that means it's starting at J, going through H forever. That is a different ray than ray GH because GH or GJ has this extra piece to it. So if I want to name 2 different rays on here, one would be GH and the other would be JH. Okay, because they're different. All right. Next, so here's showing why. Remember I said array, just like a segment in a line, is one dimensional. Spelled dimensional wrong right there. There we go. Oops. Dimensional. Okay. All right. So if we start with line here, line AB, because there's only 2 points, so I can only call it line AB. There is no small letter, lowercase letter at the other ends here, so I can't call it by a single letter. So it's only line BA or AB. Okay. But I have 2 rays on here. I can have ray BA, which means the endpoint starts at B, that's the endpoint, and goes through A forever. So that's why you see it as green, that's the green ray. And I also have ray AB, starts at A and goes through B forever. Okay, these are 2 different rays. Okay, within this right here. And again, just remind you all segments, rays, and lines have an infinite amount of points because from between any 2 points is an infinite amount of points, and they're one-dimensional. Next, I have opposite rays and angles on the same page because their definitions are similar. Okay, and actually opposite ray actually does fall underneath angle even though it doesn't appear to sound like it from here. Opposite rays are rays that share an endpoint, so it has to be in between it. So J, K is one ray and J, L is the other ray. They share that endpoint J, so those are called opposite rays because they're going the opposite direction and share that same endpoint. So they have to have the same endpoint. Notice J and J for both endpoints here. And of course it goes on forever as a ray does. And opposite rays form straight angles. They also form a line. Okay, in most books they'll actually say they form a line. Okay, but this is a true statement that it forms a straight angle. A straight angle is 180 degrees. So any line is always 180 degrees, and that's what a straight angle is. That's 180 degrees, which means it's a line or a segment. Okay, it's flat. Versus angles. Angles, which would be, even though we have a straight angle here, we're talking about other angles than straight angles, any other one. Okay, so all the rest, you have two rays, or it could be segments, as we'll see down here, that share the same endpoint. In this case, endpoint M. That M is called the vertex. Notice the vertex is the common endpoint, and it can be at the end of two rays, as it is here, or two segments, as it is here. So if I have segment HF and segment HG, they're segments, and that's still the angle right here, angle FHG or GHF, or I could call it angle H because there's only one single letter or one angle associated with this letter. Okay, H is the vertex. It doesn't have to technically be rays. It can be a segment as well, as you see right here. So compare and contrast, two English words you should be familiar with. Okay. First off, as you see, share an endpoint and then go in different directions. So they aren't wanting to include, by this definition, they would not include straight angles, but that is an angle. So that's why I said it falls underneath here technically. So compare and contrast. What's the same? What's different? Same. They share an endpoint. There's an infinite amount of points on the two rays. Okay, that form that angle there. Contrast. This one goes in opposite directions. This one just goes in different directions other than opposite. Any other direction other than opposite. But technically, this is a straight angle, so it really does fall underneath here. I talked about you can only name points with capital letters. As you see here, F, G, and H as their points. We have a specific place where we use lowercase. Lowercase is most often used in naming sides. One way to name side, I could call it segment FH, of course, or I can call it lowercase g. It is opposite this angle, capital G, that's why it's lowercase g. Just as this side is opposite the capital H, so we call it little h. This side is opposite this angle, it's called lowercase f because it's opposite capital F. Now, why is that? Why is this f, little f, associated with this angle? Because if I draw this angle right here, put that here, there's the angle. Well, when I connect the endpoints of those two segments, it created this side. So this angle created this side. This angle created this side. This angle created this side. And that's why they have the letters associated with them as they do. As I point out here, the exceptions to this being different directions would be a zero angle or a straight angle. And we'll see that coming. We saw the straight angle here. We'll see the zero angle coming up. All right, next word, we have plane. A plane is a flat, anything that's flat that goes on forever. Okay, it can be horizontal, vertical, or oblique. Okay, a plane is named by three non-collinear points. Sometimes four, but usually only three. But it could be four. Okay, but they have to be non-collinear. That's why you see it non-collinear underlined. Non-collinear, not on the same line. So if I went ahead and put in a point, let's say right there, okay, because that looks collinear, we'll say that's collinear. I could draw a line from that and call it D. I could not name this plane ADB because I could draw a line through all three of those. Those would be collinear. I have to pick three non-collinear, so I could go ADC. I could go CAD, I could go CDB, I could go BAC, okay? Three non-collinear is the most common way planes are named. This is the symbol for a plane, it looks like a parallelogram. So plane ABC is the most common way. The other way is if there's a capital letter in one of the corners, one of the four corners, with no point next to it. Notice there's no point, just by itself. Then I could also call it plane F. Okay, and that's why I see right here, or plane F, located in one of the corners. No point associated with it. Next, as a reminder, I talked about earlier, planes are two-dimensional. Remember, point zero-dimensional, ray, line, and segment one-dimensional, plane two-dimensional, and then space, which we're not going to talk about today, is three-dimensional. All right. And remember, so here we have two planes that intersect. Okay. Now notice each one has three non-collinear points, so that means it determines a plane. And notice how these points aren't labeled like A, B, C like this we have here. So I can't call it by these 3 points because I don't know what these are called. So remember I told you the other way to look for it is look for the letter in the corner. So this is plain Z and this is plain Y. Okay. Now it says Z and Y each have their own coplanar points. Coplanar, co means same, so same plane. These 3 points are in plane Y. These 3 points are in plane Z and not in plane Y. Now the intersection of 2 planes. So if I take that plane, remember it goes on forever. So it goes all the way through there, goes all the way up forever, and goes flat in this way all forever. The intersection of 2 planes is a line. So you might think, oh, look at this is a segment. I'm going to call it a line segment. You'll get wrong on the test. On multiple choice, that's a trick question. Multiple choice, they often have this drawn on multiple choice, and segment will be, or line segment will be one of the choices. And a lot of people choose it because they're just focused on that. They forget that a plane goes on forever. Flat piece on forever. So it's going all the way out like this. This one's going up and out all like this, down. So it actually creates a line. Okay? The intersection of a line and a plane. So if I take this horizontal line here and I draw a line straight through, it's only going to intersect at one point. Okay? Unless the entire line is in the plane. Like if I talk about this horizontal plane, I draw a line in the plane, and then obviously it's going to intersect everywhere on that line because it's already in the plane itself. Then it'd be the entire plane. So that would be a trick question. But the common answer is point. Okay? Next. Reviewing what we just went over. So point, capital letters, lowercase letters for side lengths, or if it was at the end of a line. If I put a lowercase, let's say I put a lowercase n right there like that, I could call it line N, or line AB, or line BA. Okay, so I'll put or line N. And again, we write the word line for that there. We don't use the symbol above the line. Okay. Array, we know it has an endpoint, goes through another point forever. So array AB, remember it cannot be called array BA because the endpoint is not going through A forever. That's a different array. Segments, 2 endpoints and everything in between them, and it can be BA or AB, your choice. And again, here's the symbol. So either write out the word segment, write AB or BA, or I use a symbol for it. Okay, you need to know your symbols. Now, here's another reason to know your symbols. So if you forget your symbol up top here, and you don't use the word itself in front of it, it means something completely different. It means the distance from A to B, which is a number, 1, 2, 5, 1.3, etc. It's a number. It's the distance from A to B. Okay? There is no symbol above it. This is the most missed question all throughout geometry when it comes to these symbols right here. People can forget over and over that this is a number, and then they don't understand what they're looking for because they don't know how to read this. You don't read this AB, you read this the distance from A to B, or the length from A to B. Okay. A plane, here's the plane symbol. Remember, it's just a flat piece that goes on forever in all directions. You must name it with 3 or more non-collinear points, 3 being the most common one used, or by a point in the corner. Not a point, wrong. By a letter in the corner. It cannot have a point next to it. Then we have collinear means the same line. Non-collinear means not the same line. Coplanar means the same plane. Non-coplanar would be not the same plane. Remember, non means not. The intersection of 2 distinct lines, distinct means different, is a line, and the intersection of a line in a plane not in the line is a point. A line not in the plane and the plane itself is a point. If the line was in the plane, then it's the entire line itself. All right, so here we have questions. I want you to go ahead and write these out, and it would be helpful to draw them out to make sure you're not using the same one again when it says different. You can't, that doesn't mean name it different ways. It means completely different rays. Okay, so an example, ray RS and ray RT are the exact same ray. So I don't get to say RS and ray RS and RT, that's only one ray. It's got 4 different rays. Okay, just an example. So doing problems 13 through 22 would be extra credit if you get them all right. Okay, on the first day of class. Bring them into the first day of class. We'll go over this in class itself, the first day, the answers. Here's the next set of questions. All this is all over the vocab we just went about doing. Okay, so you can always refer back. That's the nice thing about videos is you can rewatch them. Okay, replay them. If you are spaced out as you're watching the first time, you can rewind the video and hear it again. Pause it if you need to pause it to take your notes. So the ideal here is I'm going to try to make videos all throughout the course, and I'll send them home a day or two ahead of time, and I want you taking notes on those videos before coming to class. I'm going to just do a quick summary of what was in that video. Okay, and if I put examples like I have right here, I'd go over those in class as well. Uh, but I wasn't planning on reteaching the whole thing. Okay, I will do that for a lab class. You know, if they're struggling, I'll reteach it in lab class. But regular class, I want you to watch the video, take the notes on it. If you don't understand something from the videos, you're going through it, write down that question. Then when I'm explaining the next day in class, you're to go ahead and ask that question if I didn't answer it already when I'm explaining it. Because I know you're not going to remember the question from the night before and 2 nights before, so write it down in your notes. And then if I didn't answer it, or if I did answer it, you write down the answer. If I haven't answered it yet, raise your hand and ask the question. When I give you the answer, then write it down in your notes, okay, so that you have the answer to it. And lastly is 21 and 22. Again, review of the vocab. So 13 is 22 first credit. Remember, the other extra credit is to bring your compass to class the first day of school. Okay, we will use the compass either the second or third day, more than likely the third class. So people still have an opportunity to go out and get their compass and participate when we get into the constructions. So we'll probably do angles the second day, and then constructions the third or the fourth. All right, that ends this lesson. We'll see you in class. Bye.